there's a shot in here, which is a terrible shot that you shouldn't have on there. So she's talking about pizzas, she's talking about like it's a game changer. She's got the product here, and then she's, it's coming out of the oven. And then the next shot is like, let's just throw this in the garbage. Welcome back, everyone, to the 6th episode of Adtopsy. We get a lot of people who find us via the YouTube algorithm or recommendation. So I wanted to give people a quick rundown of what our whole content strategy is so they're not confused or anything. Basically, we have 5 experts on this show, plus a guest who is also an expert. We are all in marketing. We all work very closely with creative. We make ads primarily for D2C and e-com. And what we do here is we find some ads, whether they worked well or they did not work well, and we pick them apart and deconstruct really why that is the case from our perspective. A lot of times there's not a lot of data, but you will just have to trust our years of experience. And I think all of us total have spent $601 million or something in ad spend.
That's not an accurate number for anybody watching.
It's a minimum. It's an absolute minimum. Good point, Jess.
And so on this particular show, we're going to start with the Adtopsy challenge, where this is where, we look at an ad, 2 ads, see which one is better, see if we can guess which one it is. That will determine our creative doctorship, our sort of credentials. And then the next segment, we're going to look at celebrity-based sponsorship ads and see how they do. And then finally, we're going to do something that we haven't done, is we're going to look at a whole ad account, particularly focusing on the angles or the pitches, because there's a lot of sort of misconceptions about what those actually are. And we'd like to show what we think they are and how they can be expressed. So we have our usual cast of characters here. We have Aaron, assistant to the original note taker.
Yay!
We have Rachel Jackson. We have
You took your doctor out.
We have
Okay.
Ike. We have Barry as well.
Demoted.
And myself, Dr. Jess Bachman.
Oh, okay. We see how it is now.
Wow.
Very fortunate to bring on a very special guest, one of my favorite people in all of the D2C space. Known her for a long time, work with her. She is like the original queen of DDC, probably the busiest person on the planet. I can't even imagine what she does all day and night. But Courtney Alexander, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm a doctor in training.
You could be a doctor at the end of it. So I'm curious, for people that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about what your deal is?
Sure, what my deal is. So I buy ads like pretty much everyone else on here. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. They're fun. I also started creating ads as a UGC creator. Kind of started because I was actually working with Fireteam and got some product and was like, let me just film something. And then for my own clients, I was like, well, the creative that we have is not good. So I'm going to do it myself and I can do it better. I'm a perfectionist. And so I was like, if you can't do it right, then just do it yourself. So I started creating ads for my clients and other clients. And, along the lines of make ugly ads, they're not super polished. And that's the point. So that's what I do.
And there's an interesting, which seems like a fact to me, is that media buyers who are also content creators make the best content, certainly the most usable, but they know exactly what to do. And a lot of times if you work with like a million different content creators, they're not in accounts. So they don't always know what works. And so it's a different perspective.
They don't have any data. They have no data. We could talk about this for an hour, by the way. separate, maybe another
That's the
podcast.
show.
Yeah, so love what you do. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of Courtney's face in some of these ads later on. So just get ready
Yay.
for it. All right, I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to get started here.
I'm still feeling very insecure about my microphone. Can someone please tell me
You
if I sound
sound
okay or not?
great, Barry. You sound
Microphone
That's right.
is huge. Is
Yeah.
that what you
No, I don't want the yeah.
So this is how it is. Got it. Yeah. Wonderful.
I was trying to
Very
read
Aaron.
we
Keep
needed.
it PG here.
This is why I'm here. Note taking and
Thanks.
being very funny.
I don't know, Aaron. It says get a better note taker. So
Oh shit.
Maybe a little closer to your mouth, Barry, just a little bit.
Me? Really?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
That's what he said.
That's sarcasm.
Wait, seriously or no?
No, you
Tell
good.
me.
You sound really good. All righty. So I did the intro for new viewers, so that's off. So also I should probably say comment, and subscribe a little bit more. So please do that, because it really helps out our channel. We're a growing channel. I think we have just over 100 subscribers. Certainly more views than subscribers. So our reach is really good. So please subscribe as well. Also, we did a merch. We were giving away some merch last weekend for a commenter. We have 3 commenters.
Ooh.
So let's go find. Let's choose someone.
Wow, Jess, I like your screensaver that it talks to you and says good morning.
So Barry, I know you commented. We're not going to include you on this. Is that all right?
Oh, come on.
Okay, so only 2. Now we're down to 2.
No, there's actually 5. We're also not going to include the same guy that won last time.
Yeah.
He's had enough.
You've won enough, buddy.
All right, so it's
That's a
going to
shipping
be
nightmare.
1, 2, or 3. It's going to be the first person. Let's find out who that is.
Is it Courtney?
I did not comment, but I should have.
I'm not.
Watched it.
Okay, so here's the first one. Abdullah Ahmad. I agree with Barely. Hopefully, I'll win the merch.
You just
And he
did.
won.
That's what you get for agreeing with me. That's what you get.
Great. Well done, dude. All right, so now moving on into the very first segment, the Adtopsy challenge. Only true creative doctors will get this right. I have a little bit of a surprise for you guys. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's time for the Autopsy Challenge. Only true creative doctors will get it right.
Oh my God. Did you record that?
I don't think it was loud enough.
What
How
in
much
the
did that
Fiverr
cost?
is that?
Yeah. How much
Yeah,
did you spend on Fiverr for that?
That was
Whatever it was.
that was the sponsorship budget for the next 4 episodes.
Oh, great.
That is something else.
Absolutely worth it. Oh my God. Great.
Always elevating. We'll hear that every episode. So we'll get to our sponsors a little bit later, but they are TripleWhale, longtime sponsor. Also, Pencil is a new sponsor. Have a whole segment on that later. So usually when we do these, pick the winner, we don't include the copy. Because this show's long enough, but someone did call us out on not including the copy, and so I think it is interesting just to at least have a look at what the copy is for these particular ads. I'll say both of these ads were submitted by Courtney, so these are your client, right, Courtney?
Oh, nice.
It is, yes.
Ooh.
Okay, so when we're ready, Courtney, I'll have you reveal who the winner is here. But we're going to start with this first one. And let me pull it up. Okay, here we go.
OMG, my mom is going to freak. My mom is so hard to shop for. I've been looking for the perfect gift for her for a while. I finally found a gift she'll keep forever. This is the Wander Chain. She can collect tokens for each place we visit together. She's going to love it.
Okay, we've internalized that, and now here is the second one.
This is the Wander Chain, and it's the one and only souvenir you'll ever need to buy again. It's the perfect way to collect and remember everywhere you've been, from national parks like my collection to countries, states, cities, and more. If you like to travel, check this out.
Okay, so
Wow.
there we have both ads here. Has everyone sort of chosen what they think it is?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, comment below with which ad you think it is, and then don't wait for the answer in 20 seconds. Just comment below, and then we'll see how you stack up against these on again and off again creative doctors.
Mostly off.
Mostly off. I've only
Yeah.
been off.
I think I got one right. So
Okay.
Feeling good today.
I think I'm gonna get this one wrong. I have no idea.
Okay. How many think it is this first ad, the ad on the left? Raise your hand. No one. Okay. So I'm assuming we all think it's the ad on the right.
Are we all gonna be wrong again?
yeah, we're all wrong again, aren't we?
We will see.
I'm okay with being wrong. I don't care.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Courtney, why don't you reveal which ad is the right one?
You all are correct.
Yes,
Oh
about
my
time. Oh my gosh.
Finally.
God, I was sweating bullets there for a
My
minute.
job was depending on it.
So, Courtney, what does that mean in terms of like kind of where these were run, or like some context behind winner or loser?
Yeah, so my mom is gonna freak, the first one that was ran pretty much all of Q4 last year.
Wow.
And so it was they're a big gifting product, right? So it's like you give it to somebody. But I kept pushing this one just because I liked the gifting angle. So it did, both of these got at least like 5 to 6K in spend before I turned off the one that wasn't working. But yeah, and then this other one, both all placements, pretty much they have both Facebook and Instagram, pretty much nothing else placement wise. But both significant spend enough to say it did or didn't work.
Cool.
Yeah, 5K is plenty of data to determine if something did or didn't work. It's something where it could work for a while and then stop working as well. I'll say, just looking at this one on the left, I love the song. It's a very bumping song, but the audio is it's too loud. It's like you can't hear the voice, at all.
And Jess, you pay more attention to audio levels than most people, I think. I mean, you certainly do. You pay a lot of attention to it, which says a lot. I mean, it's important. But,
Right.
It's funny though, Jess and I fight about that. I listen to nothing with sound at all. Everything, I'm a silent scroller, and so it's good to have two different perspectives. He only listens to stuff with sound, so you have to kind of speak to both parties.
Right. And it's not that it's hard to hear the audio, so the ad's not going to work. This ad could work without sound as well, but there are people that do listen to ads with sound, so it doesn't have that little extra bit that could allow it to work for another 5,000K as well. Any other thoughts on this particular one before we go into the second one?
I'd be curious to see
OMG,
how it
my
would-
mom.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ike.
I would be curious to see how it would perform if you took out the robot voice and put Courtney's voice over in it.
So we actually did do this. The creator that made this, we A/B tested the robot voice versus her voice. And both of them performed poorly. Yeah. And it was exactly the same words because I did that on purpose. So yes, done. Same.
That's fun.
Nice try.
That would have been a fun test too.
Nice try, yeah.
This is what happens when you have an ad buyer doing the creative. Already done.
Yeah, totally. That's a classic. Also, like, sorry to plug myself, but like make ugly ads. Like if you think one version is going to work well, and you test the opposite, It's almost actually you almost made the pretty ads version, because if you were like, the ugly ads version is the robot voice, and then but still need to backwards test that anyway to see if the real voiceover would do better. I love it.
I'm thinking about sort of the hook here. Not the OMG, my mom's gonna freak, that I like, but the sort of unboxing.
Mhm.
And I don't feel like this card's doing much for me, or the box itself. I'm very interested at this sliding out sort of thing. Like this is a great shot where I feel like I'm interested. What is that? But the box itself, a little bit less so. Maybe there's too many words, or maybe it's too much like kind of literature.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. It looks like mail. It looks like you're opening mail, junk mail or something.
Yeah. Go from that first cut. If you wanted it to be interesting, right? Go from that first cut where it's coming out of the package, which, by the way, is not my favorite hook anyway. It's kind of boring. Anyone can do it. Could be for anything, so whatever. But if you go from that straight to the pulling out, at least you're keeping people's interest. At least you're showing something that's like, maybe people would be like, "What the heck is that?" Versus like showing the junk cards, mail that come with everything that nobody wants ever, and they don't have the time to read it in this ad. They don't have the time to read it when they receive the mail. They don't care. So, I'm a bit harsh, but like, this is, maybe that describes something, but I don't understand why I would care at this point to know your order equals a meal provided. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. And so
I think it's also the thing. Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, it's also the thing where it's good to sometimes say or match what the words are, like this right here, just match what the words are with what you're showing. And so if I'm seeing this card here, but my mom is hard to shop for, but that's not exactly, my brain is trying to do two things at once, so that there's some dissonance there. But the actual product itself, I think, is the interesting part, and that can come maybe a little sooner.
Yeah, totally. That's what I was going to say too, is that, and two, with this brand, the fact that they give back is not really like the main reason why people buy from them. And the only time in ads I've ever had anything around that, like emotional, we give back type thing, I've had that work a little bit in retargeting, just because it's a little bit more of like the storyline behind it. But, part of this is like, number one, the words don't match the card. The card doesn't mean anything. You haven't even seen the product by the time that you see the card. And it's just like confusing as to what this is. And you don't get into what it is until like halfway through second, 10 even.
That's the thing I liked.
So
I liked that it was a delayed.
Do you?
No way.
There's something.
That's why it didn't work. It's just like confusing and like, why in the world should I was interested by my mom is gonna freak. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
But then like
I think that's too generic.
Fair.
Devil's advocate.
But then it's like,
really?
It's
both. Like anyone can say that about anything.
Yeah, it's fine if you can back it up. But if you pulled it, okay, my mom's gonna freak. I need to see what this is. And it's like, oh, my mom's not gonna freak anymore. I don't know what this is.
My mom's not gonna freak out about this postcard.
I want to see my mom freaking out. I want to
see me and my mom. I want a selfie video. I want me like handing it to her. I need some sort of connection as to why is my mom gonna like this? Why is this for an older demographic even? Or, it said there is a part that says collect tokens for all the places we've been together. That's the emotional tie. But I need a picture of them like hugging at the Grand Canyon or hugging in Paris, and it's like holding it up or something like that, like a mother-daughter trip. Or mother-son trip, I guess. But either way, in my opinion, it just like the hook is like so delayed and it's so confusing because this brand is almost exclusively prospecting, like 95 to 97% of my budget is in prospecting. And so it's just like, you have to get to the point because at the end of the day, it's a keychain and it's kind of an expensive keychain for the sake that it's a keychain. And you have to like build that up, but you have to like invert the pyramid and start with the most important part, in my opinion.
All I'm going to say, Jess, I'm not letting you go. All I'm going to say is like, when I say like that, having that time before you reveal what it is, that can work very well if you can fill it with like building up the problem. If you can fill it with story that's worth watching, that's extremely valuable. Otherwise, I would say get to the product is quicker. But so I can go either way on that. But in this case, again, the thing I liked is that there was a delay, and that's okay, a delayed reveal, but the delay there wasn't enough meat in there for it to be valuable.
Yeah, there was no payoff.
And so the last thing is that this ad is missing the whole point of the product, which is so clearly demonstrated in this other one. This is a travel related product, and there's just like everything about this is there's travel. You know, people that this is just going to resonate with people that you know, like have been to these places, aspirationally want to be these places, and so you can't get to the end of this and not know what this product is for, what's sort of happening here.
Can you turn the volume on for this? I'd like to listen to this one again. There's something about the sound on this.
This is the Wander Chain, and it's the one and only souvenir you'll ever need to buy again. It's the perfect way to collect and remember everywhere you've been, from national parks like my collection to countries, states, cities, and more. If you like to travel, check this out.
Yeah.
Everything about it, even the music is like wanderlust feelings. Yeah.
Yes. I bet the name of that stock song was Wanderlust.
Exactly.
It's really like that, and the voiceover is kind of lo-fi. I like it didn't sound like professional studio whatever to me, and maybe it was, but like it sounded like kind of like really natural
Courtney.
lo-fi.
It was my voice on my phone.
Courtney's voice.
I made this.
What'd you record it on a professional mic or on a phone or headset?
No, I purposely did it on my iPhone.
Boom.
Not with my nice, lovely microphone that I'm talking on right now.
Exactly. I'd say go even further and downgrade it even more. I did like an Urban Stems ad on like the crappiest headphone mic that I could to intentionally get like a lo-fi sound to go with the vibe. So yeah.
So this one I actually pieced together with like the UGC that we had with, this was like probably 7 or 8 different videos that we had that was like collected. But this is kind of like what I was wanting to create. Those aren't my hands. I added the sound, I added the voiceover, added the text, added in like each of the locations after the token to like show that it was matching. Cause I thought that was like, it's an easy place to get confused. I think with this product of like, you have, it's a washer, right? We call them tokens, but they're washers. And you got to like kind of get that part going there. But like piecing it all together and like hook, and then there's a call to action. I feel like this overcomes the confusion pretty quickly.
I don't think there's confusion here at all. Like I totally get it.
That's the thing. You get it really fast.
Right.
Never seen it before.
It's only 17 seconds, and it gets everything you need to know in 17. That's effective.
Can we, or do you guys care or think it's interesting the how well manicured her hands are versus the other ad? I mean, they're 2 completely different ads, but I do think this is something that like we think about sometimes with ads that are like really up close. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, Rachel. What are these shots with the manicured nails, these macro shots? Are these on an iPhone as well? Or are these more like studio? They look a little fancier than the...
I'm actually not sure. I know it was a creator that like was like product placed, but like a TikTok, like, you know, micro influencer. So I'm not actually sure how they filmed it.
Go ahead, Jess. Sorry.
I'm going to say that it matters 100%. I don't think anyone's going to actively be like, look at the nails, but it's part of the vibe. It's like part of the music. It just connotates something. And, you know, if you have your nails done, or if you do your nails, this is going to resonate more. The only time where I think it might not be effective is if the target audience doesn't take care of their nails. I don't know if they're just like hardcore travelers or hikers or whatever, and so this wouldn't fit. But if the target audience, you know, cares about their nails, I think it's important to include these details.
I shot something this morning and I painted my nails on purpose because I thought it would matter, because it's an accessory sort of product, styly kind of thing. I don't know, maybe not, but it's also the kind of thing where there are these little pieces where if you have the time to try, like we talked about this a little bit with the sound thing, Barry, you said earlier, if there's things you can do, maybe you might as well do them. I don't know. The
question is the most important part, right? Like, as long if you're thinking about that, Like, I feel like so many people would just be like, oh no, we only would do this. Like, oh, we're only going to do this with the like the perfect hands. Like, let's hire a hand model or whatever. So like, there's that. I think that, and Jesse kind of touched on it. It's kind of targeting, like, and there's there's two parts I want to get into it. One is like, you can target with it, like who, someone who has nice nails might care more or might not, but also like some of that is true about targeting. And the other is like, what just sometimes is more generally aesthetically pleasing or kind of
what does your hat say? What does your hat say, Barry?
I can't see it. Hold on. But they're it's not necessarily like, when I say it being satisfying or whatever, it's not necessarily about it being traditionally, conventionally pretty. It's about what looks right and or looks just most eye-catching. So, I could make a very easy case that a gritty, dirty hiking hand, a real, could do just as well, if not better. But the thing here is more about what's believable, what's authentic, and what's eye-catching or keeping attention. And I don't look at it as simply as like manicured versus unmanicured or whatever. I think it's this bigger thing, because even if you were to A/B test that concept, there's so many other psychological variables that go into that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it's a targeting thing. Like, because your note about if you had a gritty hand, that's just a different target.
Yeah.
Different type of person.
But some of this is what I'm also saying is some of this is like one-to-one more relevant targeting, but some of it is also just, regardless of relevance, some of it is just what is visually more interesting.
Sure.
That keeps attention more.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that's what we're up against. Because like, that's the whole thing. Like, some of it is this one-to-one, like, all right, I want to target this way. But then the other is, well, more people are going to watch this, even if you know it's less relevant.
That's a really good point, Barry, because I feel like that's really illustrated in the second one, because even the background of the macro shots, it's like on like wooden stumps in the background. It's just more visually pleasing than just the marble countertop on the first video.
Yep. And it's the platform too, because I bet, these people that travel, their Instagram feed in particular is full of highly aesthetic travel shots, and this fits right in. So
and I think a lot too of this type of ad is that, in ads and like that psychology piece, is that you always want to be able to see yourself in this ad, and you want to be able to like picture yourself with this product. And so like this demographic and this product is traditionally women, and women are sentimental, and women are gifting, and a lot of times for gifting, the women in the relationship or in the family are the ones that are buying the gifts from the family as a whole. And so like there's another product that this company has that is a little bit more male driven. But this one in particular, it's so women focused. I think it's like 90 to 92% of the customers are women. So that it's like seeing themselves, even if like my nails aren't done, I know that's a woman, and I know that that's for me. So along that targeting lines, it's like demographic, but also psychologically, before I even get there subconsciously, I'm like, that could be me scrolling through my tokens.
Great point.
Okay, so visually also reminds me. Oh, sorry. It visually reminds me of like the van life Instagram, like hashtag van life.
Totally.
Agreed.
Totally.
Okay, so now we're going to move into a new sponsor of ours. It's called Pencil, and they are AI generated ads.
Get out of here.
Because it's going to put us all out of business.
Jobs.
Just a few things to say about AI in general. So this is an image that I got from OpenAI, Dolly. I was like, 5 medical doctors gather around some manifestation of a Facebook ad. They're all performing an autopsy on it. I don't know what a talkbot is. Maybe it's the new name of the show, but
it looks like us.
It's basically says face. It's like them saying Facebook without saying Facebook.
Yeah.
It's fun to laugh at, but at the same time, if you discount what AI is going to do to this space, you are like 3 years behind. It is absolutely going to change. It's changed so much in the last 6 months, particularly on the copy side, now going to the image side, and it's going to be changing things on the video side as well. So, I'm someone who's like always tries to put like the best possible effort into every creative, and it's like AI can never beat me. But at the same time, it will at some point. I've kind of fully acknowledged that. I'm not sure if it's there yet, but let me just run briefly through what Pencil is. I signed up for this last night, so I'm sort of going on the journey here, but basically is like you upload all your sort of brand assets, logos, backgrounds, stuff like that. And then you upload a bunch of assets, including
It
video.
actually pulls it in from your Shopify. It pulls it in from your Shopify.
Oh, I should have done that.
Which is pretty dope.
I should have done that. So you loaded up a whole bunch of assets, and then there's like a button and you just click generate ads. I haven't done it yet, or actually I did it, but it hasn't. It's still, I guess the first batch takes 24 hours. So we'll see what happens, but then it'll generate ads. And there's like this weird storyboarding thing where you could, I was really surprised about how advanced it was to generate a lot of these different concepts. And then from there, you can like go into your ad account and it like looks at top and lower performers. Like, let's just look at, apparently these are 58 losing ads in the ad account. Rachel, I don't know what's going on here, but
oh my God.
we need to have a conversation. But you can go in there and be like, oh, this one's not performing well. I'm just going to replace it. So Rachel, this is connected to the ad account. So I don't exactly know what this replace button does. And I'm not going to
please don't do that.
Do it.
I'm not going to do it, but you can like replace it with one of the auto-generated ones in there. Very interesting. It does a thing where it shows like why it thinks some of the ads are performing. So one thing about this tool, and I won't go on too long, is that any tool takes time to learn. And this tool it's very sort of overwhelming. It is free to get up on there and join, but you're not going to get results out of any tool unless you put in the time and effort to play with it, to use it, to see what it does. So over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to go on this journey and see what this tool can do. And I'm kind of excited about it.
Rachel and Ike, you're both out of jobs.
Yeah, I'm going to lose my job now. Great.
Yeah.
I want to also add, they have like services you can pay more for if you want them to do it for you, which is also
interesting.
I actually find it very interesting. It'll be really cool to get some ads and like test them out. I'm excited.
Next week, let's critique an AI ad. Oh my gosh, what are we about to watch?
All right, so we wanted to do an ad with celebs. Barry, I know this is one of your favorite ads. Scojo here. So let's just watch this. Unfortunately, I couldn't find good examples. I think these are both like terrible examples of celebrity endorsements, but let's just take a look at them and sort of dissect them a little bit. Scarlett Johansson for some type of pizza bite. We'll go.
Pizza bites.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Johansson. I am a die-hard pizza lover. Remember the pizza bites from our youth, the ones that were made with ingredients no one can pronounce and sort of tasted like pizza? Well, Snow Days is a grain-free organic pizza bite. We took all the unnatural things out of pizza bites and replaced them with clean ingredients so you can finally feel free to enjoy what you love. Snow Days is an insanely delicious, classic childhood favorite reimagined. Not only are they so damn good, they take only 8 minutes to make. I eat them all the time. I totally make them for my family, but mostly they're for me. So just pop them in your air fryer, and before you know it, you'll be feeling like a kid again.
Straight from Celebrity Billow. I think this is where this came from.
Oh my God. Is she an actress?
But I think she's an investor. Is she an actress?
I know.
Is she an actress is my feeling. I used to get this ad a lot, and I would watch it out of just sheer horror and like curiosity, because it probably has some decent performance just alone from having a A-list celebrity in it, right? That is enough for a lot of people, regardless of her just absolutely unspirited performance. But I like cringe watch this, especially the bit where she says, "I totally get it all the time." Like it all the time. Like,
she says her name, and it feels like she's not confident that that's her name.
Is that my name?
Right.
I'm Scarlett Johansson.
It's like stapled to her jacket.
I want to know. That's what I want to know so badly. Like, why this setting? Like, why did they do this
It's
in
like a
this white
background.
background? Like,
It
she must have already been there. Like, they must have been recording for something else.
I feel
And they
like
just
she
handed this to
probably
her.
did several ad reads in one sitting, and this is just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
one of them.
This is at her Vogue interview. It's
Yeah.
like
Right.
not,
Yep.
you know,
Or
it's-
or whoever like handles her or handled the setup of this was like, oh, well, we have to use this lighting and we have to use this setting and we have to do all this because otherwise it will feel, you know, unpolished. It will feel, you know, whatever. And that's one of the worst parts of this to me is like this like mediocre studio lighting shot on whatever nice camera is zooming in. It's just
like
so...
I eat them all the
Everything is
time. I'm like, I
inauthentic.
want her to put one in her mouth. She's not going to do that, but I
No,
really,
she's not. She is not. She's not going to do that.
but I want her to eat one. So
I feel like this storyline though, I feel like this could work as a UGC ad with a creator, like along the lines of like throwing out the pizza rolls and like, do you remember those? You can put them in the air fryer. That just seems like something that could be so authentic if it was like an actual person, but like this just seems so fake. And then not a paid endorsement. I'm like, really? Like maybe she is an investor, but yeah, like I need to see her eating it. I need to see like a kid eating it and like grabbing another one. But
Right.
like, yeah, the storyline, like I think this could work. I think I could probably make it a lot better.
Right.
But
Not...
like you
I
just
did
need
not
more
notice the not a paid
authenticity.
endorsement.
I couldn't
I-
agree more. The most
I
cringe
hate not a
factor
paid
of this. Wait, where is it? Oh, right there. Isn't
Right
it?
there.
Yep,
The
I
worst
missed
part of
that.
this ad is her read. It really is.
Well, she does a great job with the read. It's a terrible script. It does not work for her or this product, but she
it's a good read if she wasn't her.
exactly.
If she was us, if it was me or Courtney doing it, I think it's fine. And not, I mean, it's not like it's amazing, but it's just the fact that it's her and this not a paid endorsement, which they probably put there because they're like, oh, this is going to be great. Or nope, everybody's going to believe that it's not a paid endorsement. And then the opposite effect happens.
Yep.
Can I remake
By
this
the
and
way-
we can do this in the next Adtopsy? Can we compare it? Because I'm about to go buy myself some of these and I'll expense it to you guys for the, you know, Pencil can pay for it. And I think that would be a great A/B test.
Yeah. Well, we don't run this
You'd make
on
it
a
killer ad.
yeah, but it would probably be
This is an
better.
important detail. I Googled this just now because I didn't look at this previously. Scarlett Johansson joins Snow Days as creative director.
Oh my
that was
God.
April
That's the
2021.
move. They all do
That's
that.
not April Fool's, but like that's like she must have been like, oh, didn't Matthew McConaughey have some brand deal with the
Yep.
whiskey company? Like I can do that, and then she shit this out.
So aside from the horrible mismatch between her and this product, there's a shot in here which is a terrible shot that you shouldn't have on there. So she's talking about pizzas, you know, she's talking about like it's a game changer. She's got the product here, and then she's, you know, it's coming out of the oven, and then the next shot is like, let's just throw this in the garbage.
trash.
And so
because those are the old pizza bites.
Yes, but if someone is watching
Yeah,
this
but
without sound, they're
no
like,
one knows. How would you know
The
that?
new pizza bite.
It's like I'm not.
Completely undiscernible.
People are watching with a half a brain, and if you're going to throw something in the garbage, you need to be, first of all, you need to be really clear about what it is, or don't have your product first. Start with the bad one, throw it in the garbage, and now here's Scarlett with
Or
the good
label
stuff.
it, like visually identify it better, like, you know, the old greasy ones or something like that. I've watched this ad dozens of times, and
Yeah.
I've never consciously realized why that felt really icky in my brain, but it's exactly that. It's that, like, oh my God, there's no way to know what they're throwing
Right.
away. It looks like, oh my God.
It's probably the most UGC part of the ad though. Like that actually looks like that would sell me if it was in a different part and didn't like make me think that it was the product that she's throwing away. But like I have thrown away stuff in an ad before and I think it
Sure.
can work for sure. It's just like
Yeah,
the
a
storyline of
standard
it, it's off.
clip.
But like that
Yep.
shot, great shot. I could reuse that, but not in that context.
Yeah, we've actually had Courtney throw away stuff in the garbage for a
I
client
was gonna
before.
say that's Jess's favorite thing to do: throw away stuff. Clear this.
Okay,
I've
here's
gotten the cease and desist for having stuff thrown away. That's always fun, like throwing away the competitor's brand. Yeah.
Okay, so here's one a little bit more recent. I think everyone knows who this is, but let's get to it.
I believe so much in the mission of Beyond Meat that I've stepped in to help with my greatest asset, my taste. This plant-based meat is not only amazingly delicious, but it's also better for you and better for the planet. It's a simple change that makes a really big difference. So good. And now that I'm Beyond Meat's chief taste consultant, there's never been a better time to go beyond.
Never,
She doesn't eat it.
never
She
actually
never
eats
once
it.
eats it.
She's chewing it at some point.
No, but she never like puts it in her mouth. It's
I thought
it's
she
really
was
weird.
chewing it.
She
Chewing
could be chewing
something.
Cinematic magic.
See, there's not a bite. There wasn't a bite in the burger.
Contemplates eating it. I don't know, chewing
It's
something.
close. She's
Contemplates.
smelling it.
Nope. The fist
Yes,
bump.
She's chewing it there, but chewing something. But she's chewing something while there's a full fork, and chewing something while there's an unbit burger.
Did she
So,
dip
you
a
know.
Did she dip a chicken nugget in maple syrup? What
Looks
was
like
that?
It looks like it.
Like honey. Maybe it's like a very honey mustard.
Yeah.
But like mostly honey.
So
I
again,
don't know.
I think this is another case where the celebrity adds nothing to it except just the raw celebrity factor. And it almost even takes away from it. Like if we look at this first part, and I don't know, I really don't know if this is Kim Kardashian's thing, but her like dead-eyed stare, like no affect or whatever. And so just listen to this audio.
I believe so much in the mission of Beyond Meat.
So I believe so much in the mission of Beyond Meat, and then it's just like this this like lifeless stare when she's
Stepped
like
in to help
presented
with
with
my-
it. It feels very. I feel like I want to see in her face that she believes in it. Not what this is, or even at the end, this like I just don't understand what this is. It's not doing anything
So-
for me.
I unfortunately, at that second where she does the stare, I thought it was going to turn into a parody. Where sometimes they're
Yes.
the Kardashians, sometimes they're funny with themselves and are
Yep.
like, "Oh, whatever, I'm like too severe or something." I thought it was going to be a parody of her. Like, doesn't that look like it would be?
Yeah.
But then it
Yes.
just was completely
I
serious.
think that's what they're going for almost. It's like this.
Okay.
She's taking it very, but she's just not a good enough actor to pull it off. No offense, Kim. I hope she doesn't sue us. But
What's the point of
I mean,
this?
if they're
What is the point?
if they're intentionally making cringe so that we all talk
Sure.
about it, they've done a good job.
Also,
Yeah, I'm
They've
not
done a
buying
great job.
this.
they are like infusing a bit of comedy, right? She like pushes the chef away at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
She's
they're
the chief taste
yeah,
consultant.
they're
That's supposed to be
trying
funny.
they're trying to go for the parody, but
It's the same with
Mission
the
accomplished?
Liquid Death
I don't
ad,
know.
where they were trying to go for parody, but they didn't go all the way.
let's
so-
not bring this up. let's not
Let's
bring
I'll
this
kill
keep him
you.
out of it.
Let's- Where's Raba? Bring him back in here.
Bring him back.
That is maple syrup. She's Is it maple syrup?
wait,
She
didn't
at least
eat
had a
that
bite
one?
missing out of that. There was a bite missing out of that one.
Her assistant took a bite, and then
Yeah, there's no
I
way
mean-
that's in her mouth right now. There's no way.
Wow.
To call back our previous episode, with the hopes of this episode making people go watch other ones in case this is someone's first time. When we talk about, Bobby Brown being an authority, these are two examples of people who are absolutely not authorities that I would
No.
trust on this topic.
no.
Like, I follow Kim's every move, biggest Kim Kardashian fan, and watch all of her shows, every episode, obviously.
Same.
And I also only eat what she eats. So this ad is perfect for me. But I would assume others, probably don't care one bit what she eats or how or why
Right.
or pretends to eat. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no fit.
there's
There's
some
no, it's not
sarcasm
just
in
product market fit. There's no connection there that would make it, why should she? So like to the Bobby Brown point, like that makes sense. But why is nowhere near even close.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is, there's lots of ads that use celebrities in the ad, and like every Super Bowl is just full of that. And there's great examples there. But I looked, and it's real hard to find a real good celebrity endorsement of this type that works. So I'll keep looking. But if anyone knows any off the top of their head, link us to something.
I'm partial to like most of what Ryan Reynolds does. He's fun.
Yep. He can
'cause
do no
kind
wrong.
of is an
Yeah.
owner of a lot. He can do no wrong.
He gives a hell of
Right.
a
Well, he owns
read.
his own
He
agency.
really does.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's
He
nice
has
to
a
look
creative
at.
agency.
He's nice to look at.
So to quickly talk about our other sponsor, TripleWhale, I pressured Rabah into last week into giving us access to the creative cockpit. And so, Barry, I don't know if you use the creative cockpit, but I just started using it. And there's, again, it's another example of a tool which can be overwhelming, but you'll get more out of it the more you sort of learn how to use it and explore it as well. Do you use it at all in media buying?
I do, for me.
Oh, okay.
In the ads that we looked at in the beginning. And two, it like doesn't, or at least in the beginning, it didn't backdate. So it can be, it takes time to get going. But yeah, I use it for the Wander Club.
Okay. So like, how would you, so I haven't really started using it like in production. So how would you like go through an account and use it in particular? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I love seeing trends, which I know you kind of showed in pencil too, but I love seeing the trends over time, which is how you can kind of gauge, because like we know that there will be ad fatigue, but sometimes something starts off really strong and then it dies out, or sometimes like anytime I've launched a very new type of creative asset, it'll like start off slow because presumably the algorithm's like, I don't know about this, it's never worked before because I've never put that in the account before, and then it'll kind of take off steadily, and so that's really nice to see. It also groups the ads that are the same in different placements together, which is nice.
Yep.
But I like looking at just, and two, a lot of the main components are right here, and showing the difference between in-platform and triple pixel is really helpful.
Yes.
That's a big one, because obviously in platform, you can't see that. So you do need, this is like the whole point of needing a third-party software. It's great for ad buying, but if you're looking in the main ads pixel dashboard, it's not as easy to do creative analysis. And so this kind of does the same idea as the ads, or like the pixel ad kind of whole interface, but for the creative, which is obviously incredibly important. But it's just a better user interface to see and understand what changes and optimizations need to be made.
Yeah. Facebook doesn't, like, I wish Facebook did spark lines or any times of trend over time thing for a lot of stuff going on. And you can't do that. You just got to be like, look at 1 week and then another. But here's the click-through rate of this particular ad over the last 7 days. Very interesting. Facebook doesn't expose that. Also, man, what is this huge difference between the pixel? Huge on a lot of spend. This is like getting a little
compared
out
to
of
the one
hand.
on the right. It's not as much. Yeah. It's a big gap on the left there.
Yeah. So another plug for TripleWhale. Get in there. Get the Pixel if you can afford it. The cockpit is much cheaper. Get in there and see if you like it as well.
It's awesome seeing how quickly they're building that stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're competing with everyone at this point.
And they're so open to feedback. It's like you just DM them and they're like, okay, we'll add that. Great.
Oh, I chat with them like every other day. I'm like, hey, Daniela, how are you?
Hey, Daniela. Yeah, she's the best.
Shout out. She's the best.
She's great. So for this segment, I wanted to look at, do a little bit so different, not look at one ad, but look at angles in particular, particularly looking at one account, which which we see Courtney here.
Hit me.
So this is the JavaSock ad account, and I wanted to use this one because there's a lot of different angles running. I think people can get
just what's an angle?
I was just about to get to that. I think people can get confused between like what an angle and a hook is, or these are just terms that we use, but a lot of times people think like an angle is a thumb stop, like 3 reasons why to whatever. We don't really look at that. We look at an angle as a way to target a specific type of person with messaging that would resonate with them. So it's not, so creative targeting could be like, are you a woman or a man or something, but angle targeting is like, there's people that resonate with cost or value, or there's people that resonate with problem solving, or there's lots of different ways. And putting those in front of the ad is a great way to horizontally expand the efficiency of the account. Because, one angle, if you're just doing one angle, you will run that into, there's a limit on how much that will particularly scale. Facebook will not be able to find people efficiently after a certain point. So I'd like to run through some of these ads and just talk about, we can critique them as well and talk about the angles going on here. Does anyone have any other thoughts on angles?
Well, one thing I will say is none of these are the thumbnails I've chosen. So just nobody roast me on that. This is not playing them incorrectly.
These are not the thumbnails.
Let me just refresh it.
Are they not manually? Oh, because you pressed play on them already?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's better, Rachel.
Oh man, not a flattering
that one
angle.
Ike is rough.
Thank you.
I don't know if I chose that.
Thank you.
I'll start with this one.
No one would see that. It would autoplay before.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll start with this one. This one is what we call our base unit. It is a piece of creative that we put behind a lot of angles. I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but so it's just like, messy, sweaty cups. And then there's just, there's, some, this is different uses. And then there's some problem solution stuff. And there's a little bit of testimonial, multiple testimonial. Here's Courtney.
Hit me again.
With
Girl.
a great line. And so one thing I love about Courtney is we don't really give her a script. Sometimes we will, but she always goes off cuff and she always delivers something that makes its way into the edit here. So I'm just going to play this. I'll play this little clip here.
I gifted one to myself because I deserve it. I deserve to have my morning coffee or refresher and not have my hands all cold.
So always very genuine.
Passion.
Academy Award winning.
I felt the passion.
My hands so cold.
And then, there's some like frequently asked questions, and then I don't know what, and then there's like, review stuff we put in there. Basically, so there's just a lot going on here. And so this goes into a back of a lot of different creative. So let's talk about like the actual angles. And so this is a good example of, there's the market for this is large. It's anyone who drinks iced coffee. And so, but you need to go after different types of people. And this one is very specific here.
Java sock, oh, give a Java sock. I never know what to get my daughter for birthdays or holidays anymore. What is she even into these days? But what I do know is that she loves iced coffee just like I do. And so I think she'll love a Java sock.
And then it goes into the base unit here. Rachel, do you want to talk about who this person is?
This is Marge. She's a local woman, friend of a friend sort of situation. And we like her particularly because of the accent she has and the age demographic. We found that like there's a big older woman gifting sort of segment that we're trying to hit, trying to test some stuff before Q4. And like this, I think was our first pass at this kind of thing to see if it would work, where maybe we'll do some more versions in the future, but we kind of have to start now in anticipation for gifting season in like a month and a half.
Yeah, accents are great. This is the customer base is all over the place, but there's a lot in New England. And if you're like iced coffee, it's like you are me, So that's an example.
Have you done that? Have you done that one without the song, without the anthem in it? Where it starts right after the
We
anthem?
haven't yet. I don't think we have enough spend behind this yet to know really performance-wise. I will say that I believe the thumb stop and the watch time are excellent. I could be wrong though, but I believe they're good.
Interesting. Because the bit right after her like jingle, I think was a good. I think she says like, I never know what to get.
Yeah. And to your hat's point, Barry, about making ugly ads, I think there's also something about making just like dumb ads, because this is like objectively, this is like ridiculous and kind of dumb, but it's also a little bit endearing too. So that could be a reason why
it's good cringe. It's good cringe.
Cringe.
I mean, the whole point of me saying make ugly ads about anything is like, make the thing that a creative director would never make, right?
Yep.
Because then at least someone watching it will not think it was an ad at first. That's the whole barrier you're just trying to like, break.
Yeah, dumb works. There's I don't know if it's in this ad, but in that same shoot that was like a while ago, I say something about it looks pretty, and that's weird. But that I was just like, I just give them a whole bunch of B-roll, and I'm like, and then
Right.
in the video, the raw video that I sent them, I'm like, hey, you should probably cut this part out. Or it's like an outtake that I know you've actually ran before where I'm like, oh crap, I missed my turn and I was driving. And so it's like the dumb stuff that's like, okay, this is actually realistic and this is definitely not a paid actor.
Yep. And if you're working with creators, be wary of scripts, because if they stick to the script, that's all you're going to get. And sometimes it just isn't there,
One thing, Jess, is that almost all of us are in this ad account. And I really cannot recommend that enough. Courtney mentioned that before, but like you just said, you cannot always rely on creators to like give the best read. And maybe I can't give the best read, and maybe Courtney's not gonna give the best read, but we can certainly know what may or may not work, and we can give it a try. And then if you see it's working, double down and go find a creator that can give a better read. I think it's all about moving really fast and being agile. And sometimes you can just do it best yourself. And honestly, I would encourage every media buyer to give this kind of thing a shot.
Yeah, it's all about the data. And when you can look at the data yourself, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly what is and isn't working. Like the one that we looked at the beginning, that ad started out completely different. I added the text, I added the voiceover, I edited it together because I saw that it was like kind of working, and then I needed to make it better. And so, but instead of me having to like pull the report, send the report, explain the report to someone who's not really in the same mindset, I'm like, I can see it from all angles. And then like one of my favorite parts about doing what I do on both sides is like, there's like the sciencey data side, and then there's the creative intangible side, and being able to marry those is something that not a lot of people have. Like not to toot my own, but like not a lot of people can see both sides of that in the same like, exact section.
Yep. You're one of a kind, Courtney.
Hug you.
Truly.
Yeah.
So let's just do a few more quickly. Oh, do you have anything to say?
No, I was just going to echo that and add like it's really hard when you like if you were to like say like, hey, here's what worked before, and you ship that to someone else, and they'll look at it and they'll analyze it, and they're not going to catch the nuances that you do and that you understand is like what's working. And it's really frustrating for me just personally when I'm like, oh yeah, here's the source material to replicate, and then they kind of replicate the prettier version ideas of it, and I'm like, no, like I wanted you to like do this stuff and like catch these little things, and like it's really weird because you get to see and know the pattern of the nuance that like works, but other people, they kind of just assume, oh, let me make the perfect version of this. Let me practice. Let me prep it over, and it becomes less authentic. It becomes less watchable.
Yep. Iteration, reps is how you sort of build knowledge. So let's look at this one real quick. It's pretty obvious with
Wait, Jess, can we choose a bad one? There's an ad that's not doing well in here, and I want everybody's opinion.
Let's choose a bad one because I think let's just go this one first and then do a bad one. I'll do this one quickly because I think it's a really good example of sort of laser targeting.
You already know I love Starbucks. This little thing makes every Starbucks experience 100 times better. And I always thought
okay, so you'll get it from this, and then it goes into whatever. But the thing about this one is the majority of the customers are Dunkin' Donuts customers. But we're not going to scale into Starbucks centric people if, first of all, if we only have Dunkin's, or if we're like, this works for any cup, So if you want to scale into a whole separate group with something that resonates, literally being as overt as possible. And this is basically a Starbucks pick. So that's an example. So what's not working here, Rachel?
Coworker is not working.
Sorry. I was going to say, I think you could find language that does cover both Starbucks and Dunkin'.
Yep.
We have. It's called the Will It Fit. That's also in this account.
Yep. Yep. You certainly could, but like, I think you can juice that a little bit of extra ROAS by going.
I agree.
being specific on a particular ad.
Totally.
Where's the
That's a great
coworker one?
call-out.
Oh,
Don't do it.
sorry,
Don't
it's
do
off. I must have already turned it off.
Turned it off.
Good, because I
Only
don't.
good things.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't do
this
it.
one's not stellar. This one's not stellar. I'm only keeping it on because it's the season.
Right. So broad audience. We
Back
already
to
looked at
school.
the older woman one. This one's very different. Let's just look at it.
You have no idea how many people stopped me on my walk to class this morning just because of my Java sock. Normally by the time I get to class, my coffee is melted, there's condensation everywhere. Thank goodness for Java sock.
Okay. So student. So what's the angle here, Rachel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's. Oh, sorry. The angle.
Yeah. Or what are we trying to do?
Yeah. So I think we really struggled to get this sort of college age, younger Gen Z person. So obviously she's like dressed Gen Z to a T. She's on campus. She's a little bit stiff here, I think, is the problem. This scene is a little bit not believable. Her read's not super great. I have a huge pet peeve about like clipping and like the weird exposure issues we might be having. But yeah, I don't know. There's
I didn't edit this. That's not my edit. I color correct everything. How dare you?
Maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so it's just another example of an angle that's going after a specific thing. Like if you did like 3 reasons why, that's not gonna target any particular. It might be an interesting hook for some people, but it's not gonna seek its own audience out. You know. Barry,
I would swap those first 2 clips, by the way, like the first 2 portions of that, like not just the clips, but if you haven't, I'm not saying it'll do better. I would just try it, right? Just to be clear, anyone who's watching this, like I'm not saying like, oh, switch those 2, slam dunk, it'll win. No, I'm saying like the hook to me, I don't like this hook. It was the first word she says. You have no idea. You've already lost my attention. Who cares? No one cares. Period.
She's
So,
also walking towards you. Maybe that's a little weird.
yeah, like why?
Yep.
Why? This is
Right.
this
Yeah.
is like not believable at all. But what's the second part about this? She talks about like how after this, right there, the no more whatever it is, wet whatever it is, like that. That part of her hook might work. Yeah, no more melted ice. Like you just swap those 2. It might work a little bit better. Just either visually or audio wise. If you didn't do that, just play with it. I mean, neither of them are that believable.
Right.
So yeah.
Barry, I know you also work on a product, Razors, which has like a massive audience. How do you think about angles or pitches going after like guys?
It's going after guys, right? You also have to remember that women buy razors,
right? Exactly.
For themselves, but almost more importantly for their husbands and boyfriends and whatever. So, it's there's that weird little bit you have to think about as well. And then I'm really just trying to often find because it's such a broad product. It's such a, so many people do shave, but not everyone shaves. Obviously, I don't shave my whole face, but I do shave my cheeks. Like it's about trying to find I'm trying to find the broadest possible angles that I can, that get the most possible people's attention and let me, like move into whatever like second angle that I want. So lately, for them, we're focusing a lot on price as an angle.
Yep.
Because we're basically saying similar quality, much cheaper price.
Yep.
And that's the thing that we're seeing a lot of success with focusing on that right now. We're going to play with some other angles. Was there something else you wanted me to talk about that? Or you had other questions about that?
Nope. I'm just soaking it all up, Barry.
Yeah.
That was great. So I know we're a bit over time. I don't want people to run into other meetings. This was a very fun episode. I don't know if there's like actual rules or etiquette of YouTube, but if you've got this far, I think you're like contractually obligated to like and subscribe and probably leave a comment as well.
hit the notification bell as well.
Yeah.
huh?
Send us
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
1099 because you work for Fireteam now.
Thanks, Courtney, for joining. Where can people find you, Courtney?
I'm on Twitter, Court F Alexander. I'm probably on an Instagram ad near you, honestly.
For
Yep.
sure.
And Barry, congratulations on 10,000 Twitter followers. What an achievement.
Yes.
Everyone is very proud of you over here.
What an influencer. I'm like in the midst of
Yeah, I am.
royalty over here. Dang.
That's right. Yeah. No, I'm quitting the show. I've grown too big for this show, to be honest.
You've changed.
But no,
I didn't want to
congrats on
say
you
it,
guys
but yeah.
congrats for your 2 years. 2 years of Fire Team, right?
2 years
That's
of
awesome.
Fire
That's
Team.
a big deal.
Yep.
Woo.
Two more to go.
Aim high.
That's it. The clock is on.